Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel BrainBridge. I am Vaibhav and this is answer writing program for Geography GS. In this series, this is the 12th question and the question is discuss the concept of air mass and explain its role in macroclimatic changes. So there are two parts in this question. First is about the concept of air mass and second is related to the role of air mass in macroclimatic changes. It means in answer format these two parts would be dealt in main body. Answer format. First is intro, second is main body and the third one is conclusion. In first step, we will define what is air mass. Air mass, so definition portion. Then various types. So the types or classification can be mentioned in main body first part. Classification. Second, the role of air mass in weather, and the third part of main body would be some examples so that we can prove our concepts. Now come to conclusion part. Then by providing some more examples or application of air mass हम इसको conclude कर सकते हैं. So first introduction. Air mass is a large body of air which has relatively uniform temperature, humidity, and pressure. Air mass can cover hundreds or even thousands of kilometers and are categorized based on their source region and the characteristics they acquire from it. The concept of air mass is crucial for understanding the weather pattern and macroclimatic changes. So, this is the introduction portion. In this portion, the last line is the importance of air mass और उसको हमने कनेक्ट किया with climatic conditions. Now come to main body, and this is the first part, means classification of air mass. On the basis of temperature, there would be three types: tropical, polar, and arctic. Those warm air masses which will originate in tropical region, it would be tropical. जो polar region में generate होगा, it would be polar and its nature would be cold. And extremely cold जो arctic पे होगा. Arctic means extremely cold air masses originating in Arctic. Now on the basis of moisture, there are two types: continental and maritime. Continental means land portion, there would be less moisture in the air. It means dry air masses that form over land. Maritime, moist air masses that form over oceans. Now on the amalgamation of these two types, there are total 5 types of air mass. First is maritime tropical, second is continental tropical, then maritime polar, then continental polar, and continental arctic. Maritime polar would be warm and moist, continental tropical would be warm and dry, maritime polar would be cold and moist, continental polar would be cold and dry, and continental arctic would be extremely cold and dry. Now this is the classification. Now come to the second part of main body, that is role of air masses in weather and climate. First, in weather pattern, when two different kind of air masses will comes in contact with each other, then a front will form there. Frontogenesis will occur. So boundary between different air masses called front. When air masses with different characteristics meet together, they create fronts that can lead to various weather phenomena like thunderstorms, heavy rainfall, snowstorms, even temperate cyclone. Second, storm system. Interaction between contrasting air masses can lead to development of storm system like cyclone, anticyclone, which are major driver of weather pattern. Second is climate influences. Temperature regulation. Air masses help to regulate the temperature across globe. For example, maritime tropical air mass can bring warm, moist air to higher latitudes and affect the local climate. Second, precipitation pattern. The moisture content of air mass influences the precipitation. Maritime air mass typically bring more precipitation, while continental air mass, which is dry in nature, it would be less effective in precipitation. Third, seasonal variability. Movement and interaction of air masses vary with season, contributing to seasonal climate changes. For example, in winter, continental polar air masses can move southward and it will lead to colder temperature in lower latitudes. Third, long-term climate की बात करें, long-term climate change, then there would be some shift in air mass pattern. Changes in the distribution and characteristics of air masses over time can lead to long-term climate changes. For instance, if polar air mass become more prevalent or shift in their typical path, this could result in colder condition over a longer period in certain regions. Second is feedback mechanism. When air masses interact with other components of Earth climate like ocean, ice sheets, vegetation, these interactions can create feedback mechanisms that amplify or mitigate climate changes. So these are three important role of air masses in weather and climate. Now come to the third part of main body, which would be examples of air mass. For example, in North America, United States of America often experiences weather change due to interaction of continental polar and maritime tropical air mass, leading to phenomena like tornadoes in the central plains. In Europe, climate of Western Europe is significantly influenced by maritime polar air mass from North Atlantic and contributing to a relatively mild and wet condition. That is why जब भी क्रिकेट मैच होगा इंग्लैंड में तो हमेशा आप देखिए वहां पे कभी भी बारिश हो सकती है. थर्ड, मॉनसून, इंडियन मॉनसून. Seasonal movement of maritime tropical air masses plays a crucial role in the monsoon system, which brings heavy rains to regions like South Asia and West Africa. So these are the three examples in which we have explained the air mass, how air mass will impact on weather and climate of local area. Now come to the conclusion part. Understanding air masses and their dynamics is essential for meteorologists to predict weather pattern and for climatologists to study long-term climatic trends and potential changes. Okay, so this is the conclusion of this question. That is all for today's lesson. If you have any question or comments, leave them down below. Make sure to subscribe my channel BrainBridge for more great educational content. See you next time. Thank you.